Hello everybody, it's Mr. Manzai here and welcome back to another video. Yes, I'm going to be doing my review now. So, this is really going to be more based on a vlog than an actual formal review. I just want to keep it relaxed, that sort of thing. Hope you guys enjoy. But I'm going to be talking about what's happening in the DLC exclusively. Nothing else is going to be mentioned that's not relevant to this review. Sorry, I mean what's not relevant to the DLC, but let's start off with the main campaign. So, we are greeted with a 4-mission campaign, and 2 of these missions are actually strikes, which is somewhat disappointing, and we have a plot, and the main plot is something has awoken on Mars, and Anna Bray, who is a daughter of a character called Clovis Bray, I believe. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong. But nonetheless, she's a daughter of someone in the Bray family, and she has gotten herself into trouble because something has woken up on Mars. And we pretty much go to save her and find out what has been woken. And these things that are woken, spoilers if you haven't played it, is Zol, the giant hive worm, and Rasputin, the mysterious Warmind that has been heavily mentioned within the mythos of Destiny. So, with these 4 missions, we are pretty much killing a new type of hive, reskinned, of course, and we pretty much shoot through hordes of enemies, push through the missions, and find out more about the story as we go along. I'm not gonna lie guys, the story isn't too bad. It's not as bad as say vanilla of Destiny 1 or vanilla Destiny 2, but I'd say it's better than both, but it's very short. And there is even a video where you can complete the campaign, I believe, in just over 2 hours. So for £17 DLC, I would not recommend this for the campaign at all, but there is more positives towards this DLC, don't get it twisted. So, the campaign is around 2 hours, or you can even do it in less. Oh, someone managed to complete it in 2 hours and 44 minutes. So I'm pretty sure if someone was to speed run through it, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to complete it in less than 2 hours and 44 minutes, but, Then we have the underwhelming boss battles, which end up turning to be strike bosses, and these are the characters that we end up seeing. So Zol and Nokris are 2 heavily mentioned characters in the lore, and there is a lot of followings behind these characters. There's a lot of respect from the community, and unfortunately, Bungie don't seem to give the same respect to these characters who are engraved within the mythos of Destiny. Not only are these guys iconic in the Destiny lore, these guys are known for being related to certain characters that we fought against. Like Nokris is a sibling of Crota. Seriously, the Crota that we fought off in Destiny 1 in Crota's End, he just shows up out of nowhere and we kill him off like a regular strike, like a boss strike, or strike boss, so really it was a bit disappointing to see how Bungie just made him a throwaway character. They could have used this character as a raid boss, same for Zol, but no, they just used them and pretty much made them go to waste in being a strike. But maybe they can come back to life, because I know that the Hive or the Taken don't necessarily die. They go to the Ascendant realm and come back, but it's just really wasted. It'll be like a Superman versus Batman situation, to be honest with you. But yeah, that was a bit disappointing for me. I expected more, to be honest with you, and yeah, like I was quite disappointed to see that they were just throwaway characters, man. I know Bungie can do better than this, but I don't know. Like, I expected more when it came down to the characters, and simply the missions in general. The campaign was just hella short. The characters weren't flushed out, and this ended up being throwaway characters for strikes. So yeah, really. With this DLC, we are greeted with a new set of quests to obtain, and one of these quests leads to an exotic sword. There are these collectibles that you have to shoot with different elementary burns to be able to destroy them. There are 45 of these things. 35 will get you a exotic sword, which is a very good sword. It's a bit weak. It's not as strong as some of the swords from Destiny 1, but it does change up the gameplay quite a bit. So if you are into exotic swords, getting 35 of these fragments will help you obtain this sword. And if you get all 45 of them, you will be getting a exotic sparrow, which honestly I think it should have been the other way around, but you know, there are exotics in quest this time around, and there's also an exotic quest for the super simulant again. So there are some good things here. You know, people like the quest for exotics in Destiny's franchise, and it's definitely more prominent here with this DLC. I'm really happy to see that Bungie are willing to go out and make quests for this, and this is where you'll spend most of your time with this DLC instead of the campaign. You know, I'd say you'll be putting in a good, I want to say a good 10 to 14 hours, depending on how good you are as a player, for this for the quests. So you have plenty to do when it comes down to doing the quest for this DLC. Then we have the quality of life changes with this DLC. Some people might say this doesn't necessarily count because everyone will get this even if you don't have the DLC, and that's fine, I suppose, and we can really say that even though it's not, I think it's best that we still add this in. Yes, Bungie have buffed some exotics and given them masterworks, but I'll get to the masterwork exotics in a moment. Bungie have buffed exotics in a really good way, and they feel much more powerful than they did in the launch of Destiny 2. Some would even say they are on par with some exotics from Destiny 1, which is definitely a good thing. And to give some of these exotics a try is definitely worth it. It's worth trying out now. Not to buy the DLC, of course, but to just hop on and play the game and see what the exotic buffs were like. As you can see in this video, I am using the Darcy sniper rifle. When this game first came out, I never touched it. I obtained it, but never used it at all. And now this exotic sniper rifle has become probably the best exotic sniper rifle, or simply the best sniper rifle in the game. So, you know, there are some good buffs there and there, and it will enhance the experience, as you can see here. I'm doing a ton of damage to the boss with this sniper rifle, and you can do a ton of damage to bosses with the exotic buffs that we got, such as like Graviton Lance, the Darcy, Borealis, Hardlight, and many more exotics have gotten buffs and feel much more powerful than they did. But you know, it's definitely a step in the right direction in my opinion. Yes, it's not really hard to do that when you've made a game like Destiny 2, but at least it's there, I suppose. And now we have the masterworks. The masterworks is basically like the masterworks that we get on legendaries, but the way to obtain them and what they do is much different. With the masterworks for exotics, you basically have a mini quest in these weapons, and what happens is you might have to do a certain objective for a certain amount of time before it can unlock, and once it unlocks you will have to do a certain amount of activities or objectives for you to unlock these masterworks. And some of these masterworks buffs are really good, such as the Darcy, which I'm using. You get, I believe it's a 20% increase to stability. So knowing with the sniper rifle's archetype, it's really hard to stay on point and rapid fire and stay locked onto your enemy, so you can get the exotic buff to proc, which is when an enemy, or when you're locked onto an enemy when aiming down sights with the sniper rifle, it will do more damage per precision shot. So let's say I do a shot for 1000 to the head. If I keep following it up, it will go up to, I don't know, 3000, 6000, and then maybe 8,000 when I consistently hit my shots and stay locked on. As you can see here, you can see it quite thoroughly there, but obviously with the recoil pattern it's hard to do so. With this exotic masterwork, it will buff the stability and it will make it much easier for me to change shots and aim for the head. But not all exotics will have this perk. Obviously we'll have some different traits for different exotics, such as Vigilance Wing. Once you unlock the masterwork for Vigilance Wing, you will be able to shoot the gun in full auto mode. So not only can you look like a massive arsehole in the Crucible, you can do it with much more ease than previously before. Now we have the Crucible changes, and the Crucible changes is basically now we have new maps. Of course, everyone will be able to use these maps whether you've got the DLC. Like, the player base has to be really low to make that happen. I mean, seriously, it has to be really low to make one general matchmaking, despite if you've got the maps or the DLC or not. And now they've added a new ranking system as well. Me personally, I wasn't into any of this, but now you'll be able to play more competitively, and you have rankings. So now you've got the competitive ranking and you've got the somewhat casual ranking, to where there's the serious one where you need to play in and win quite a lot of games, or if you lose, your rank will go down. And with the with the other one, I think it's Valor and something else. Sorry, I wasn't really interested when I saw this. But there is another one where you rank up with just wins, and you won't get a decreased rank with the other one. You know, I think it's the more casual one. You won't go down in ranks if you lose, but you will go up once you win games. And also, for last but not least, the Heroic Strike playlist. Now with the Heroic Strikes, you have modifiers, and it is much more difficult to play in the Heroic Strikes than it was ever before. And if you are into getting challenge out of Destiny and also like playing strikes, this is definitely a place for you. The Heroic Strike playlist isn't very rewarding though, but I'll get to that in a moment. But now we have weekly modifiers. So as of right now, I believe we have Brawler, increased melee damage and your melee recharges faster. Solar Burn, and there is another one where you have, I don't know the name for it, apologies, where you have less health, but your recovery charges up faster. So you're basically, your health recovers much more quicker than usual, but the sacrifice is you have less health. This is definitely a good step in the right direction in my opinion too. It keeps challenge for the people that seek challenge, and with the regular playlist, which is also in one massive matchmaking system, so I think even if you don't have the DLC, you will be able to play these with the regular strikes. Like I said, the player base has to be really low for stuff like this to happen, because if you're letting people play strikes and the Crucible match it, or new maps and strikes for free, then you really have to you can really tell that, you know, the player base is at an all-time low right now. And I'm not to gloat, but it's just to be aware of that. This could be a valid reason of why it's free for those people who don't have the DLC. So knowing that, Heroic Strikes now give a much more better challenge for people who are seeking out challenge in Destiny 2. You know, go in with a fire team and work hard together and obtain tokens so you can go level up your Vanguard faction, which also has a new loadout and equipment that you can obtain, such as if you get up to rank 50 in Season 3, you will be able to unlock a exotic ship if you're into any of that. And same for Crucible as well. I forgot to mention, if you rank up a certain amount of times in the Crucible rank up system, you will be able to get some really cool weapons, such as this new pulse rifle, which once you get Outlaw the rate of fire will increase, but the archetype that it's in is a very hard-hitting archetype. But when the rate of fire increases, it still keeps that impact, even though it shoots like a lower impact pulse rifle. So that weapon's going to be pretty good, and there's also an exotic ghost as well. So there's plenty of things to do when it comes down to playing these activities. You can rank up and obtain new gear. Some of it is reskinned, of course, it's Bungie we're talking about here, and some of it is new. So, you know, it's good for what we have for that, but as a DLC as a whole, is it worth the season pass, or is it worth the £17 price? And I believe that's $20 in the UK, in the US. I got to say no, man. Like, I really I can't recommend this DLC, you know. And to me, there are some good things in it, don't get it twisted. There are some really good changes to this DLC, and I really do feel Bungie could do better, and I think they are going to do better with the fall expansion, but I'm going to talk about that in another video. But I just can't recommend it, guys. I really can't. This DLC is definitely better than Curse of Osiris, without a doubt, but that's not setting the bar high. Do you know what I mean? So as a DLC, even with the smaller DLCs, I would still say Crota's End and House of Wolves are better than this. And I liked Crota's End, I really did. And I know a lot of people don't, but honestly, I think Crota's End is really underrated in my opinion. But House of Wolves, man, in my honest opinion, that was the best small DLC Bungie has ever produced. Do you know what I mean? And if you at least want to get to that standard, it's not here. It really isn't. And I know people are saying, oh, this DLC, Destiny's not about campaign. But it's not the point, though. The best thing, like seriously, the best thing in this entire DLC is the ending cutscene, which I will show at the end of this review. But I can't, man. This DLC's really tired me out, to the point where I just can't play the game consistently like I was before. Like, I was playing Destiny 2 every day, like I still am, but I'm not playing it as long as I used to. Like, I play one strike and I get bored now, because it just feels like I just don't have the urge. You know, sorry I had some indigestion there, but it just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't feel the passion. You know, I don't feel that urge to continue to play. And yes, they're probably going to do better in the fall expansion. But the thing is, this fall expansion is getting hyped up as the expansion to fix the game and not actually expand it. And that's not right. Like, and they're going to charge me for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have to wait a whole year and, like, pay £40 or less. I think it's going to be like 25, I believe. Or 15 if they're nice. But what if it's free? Then okay. If it's free, then I'll shut my mouth and play it. But obviously, it's most likely that's not going to happen. But as of right now, they are fixing things in this DLC. Like, they fixed the ranking system. They fixed some exotics, you know? They fixed the problems with the campaign. The campaign is better than the campaigns that we have from the beginning of Destiny 2 and Curse of Osiris, without a doubt. But it's just not enough to make people come back, you know? So I don't know, man. I wouldn't recommend this. I really wouldn't. And I just can't. I'm not trying to be like a negative Nancy. Or Nancy, not Nancy. Oh god, I almost said something else. But I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm just being honest. As someone who respects you, I respect you and your money that you work hard for. I can't tell you to buy this because there's not really much here. You know? Like, look at The Witcher. Witcher 3, right? The season pass is cheaper than one DLC out of this game. Yeah, and 2 of the expansions for Witcher is as long as Destiny 2 is right now. Or even longer. That's how big the expansions are. That's a place where a company truly respects their customer and gives what you want, you know, gives good amount of content, 20 hours respectively. Or more so, I believe. But still, man, like, I really do say hold out or buy it when it's on sale if you really want it. But until then, guys, I can't recommend this DLC. I really can't. So I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10, man. Like, it's average. It's an average DLC. There's nothing that really makes people need to be like, oh shit, I need to come back and play this. It's not here. And that's what Bungie needs to do. They need you to be like, rotted. Did you see that fucking trailer, cuz? I might have to come play this. That's what Bungie need to make people do. You know, and with this expansion, it's just not here. So, you know, that's my score, guys. And I'd say the best thing out of this entire DLC is the ending cutscene, which I will show in a second. But that's all I've really got to say, man. It's a 5 out of 10. I wouldn't recommend it. If you've already bought this DLC, then you've already bought it with the game. It's understandable why. And to the people who are considering buying it, I won't recommend this to you. But anyway, my name is Mr. Menziah. Thank you for watching this review. Tell me what you guys think about my review as well, because this is my first... well, I think I reviewed a DLC for Titanfall 2, but that wasn't very as deep as this, and I don't think this was very deep either. But this is my first proper attempt at making a review, so please give me some feedback. Criticize, like, seriously, I need some real feedback. Don't just say it's a nice review. Like, I need to know what the problems are with this review. And yeah, really, that's about it. Like, subscribe if you're new to the channel. Click the notification bell to stay updated on all my latest videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy this cutscene. It's the best thing in Destiny 2 Warmind's DLC. Peace. Save this clip.
The Bray family shaped me to be an all-seeing savior, while your vanguard sought to wield me as a primitive weapon. But today, that ends, and I define the reality of my own existence. My sight will stretch to the edge of this system and beyond. Never again will a threat go unseen. From this day forward, I will defend humanity on my own terms. I am Rasputin, guardian of all I survey. I have no equal.
What have we done?
Don't worry. We've got this.